Hi guys, hope you're all well. Just a big quick thank you to everybody who's joined my group. It's really lovely, and it's getting there, isn't it? People are chatting and stuff, and it's really nice that some of you are joining. And if you've got any questions, you can always ask them in there about anything, guys. I don't care what what you share and what you post and stuff. Just do as you will, as long as it's kind and helpful. That's all that matters. Right, I'll shut up. Today I'm going to do another banded stone because I was playing with some scraps of clay and I just thought, I've never tried it with black, and black's my favourite colour for making jewellery. So I'm going to try it today with black, and I'm going to use bronze as my metallic. So all you're going to need is some black clay. I'm just showing the label, guys, because a Russian lady asked me about numbers and things, and I think what she means is the colour of the clay. Because she can't tell the difference between the translucent and the white. So I'm just lifting the labels up and people can see what I'm using. Obviously Cernit translucent, which will be the mainstay, and I'm just going to use some antique bronze clay, and again exactly the same as the I'm just going to call it the blue stone. Exactly the same as the blue, except I'm going to skinner blend black and translucent, so hopefully we'll get a bit of a light grey band, and that will make our transition colour, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do it exactly the same. I'm still going to talk you through how much you need of each. I'm going to tweak this one a little bit slightly because I think this Cernit metallic is a very strong colour. I'm going to put less with the bit of translucent, because it was a very strong band, wasn't it, through the, hang on, let me just get one of the, I've just put them in a little tub here till I decide what I'm doing to them. It was, oh, Doris is back. I've just chucked her out and she's sneaked in through the window. She's a little monkey. Yeah, it's a really strong band of colour, which is fine if that's what you want, but I prefer it to just be a little bit more subtler. So I'm going to mix it because it is a strong, there's a lot of mica in the Cernits, isn't there? So experiment a little, maybe chop some up and mix it by hand and just fire a couple of discs and see which strength you like, or let's see how this turns out now. So I'll cut these up and do you need this much with that much and this much with that much, and then we'll get it conditioned and we'll get started. See you in a minute. Hi guys, right, I've got some clay ready. That's about an ounce. I'm just going to call it, say, ounces, guys, and then you've got a rough idea of how much I mean. That's about 1.5 ounces of translucent. I'm going to put that to one side for use throughout, because I needed to do a little bit more yesterday, whatever day it was. I did the blue. Then I've got about an ounce of translucent, and I'm just going to do a pretty decent pinch. If I put it there, you can see the size then. A pretty decent pinch of black. We're going to just condition this because that's going to be part of our skinner blend. And then this one, I'm not going to put as much metallic in this time. I'm just going to do probably twice as much as the black, so you can see the size of that piece compared to the rest of it. I don't want to put too much through, and it's not too blocky. Right, so I'll go and condition all these, and I'm going to condition them on a 3 and get them all ready, and then we can sort our Skinner blend out after that. Okay guys, I'll see you in a sec. But you're all shouting at the screen. I forgot the white bit, didn't I? Right, we're going to use half an ounce, no, an ounce. We'll use an ounce because we got a bit short on that, didn't we, in the last one? With some white. I'm just going to do a good pinch. So sorry guys, so we've got an ounce with a good lump of black, an ounce with a lump of metallic, an ounce with a lump of white, and then we've got just translucent on its own. Sorry guys, brain dead today. Okay guys, we've got our trans and white. I'll just move that in a bit so you can see it. I'll put a little post-it note on, then I don't forget. Trans and white, and that's on a setting 3. The bronze with cat fluff stuck in it is on setting 3. I'm doing this guys so people know if they don't speak English. On a 3, so you can see how thin it is. I've got some trans again on a 3, and then these two are just on a 0, which is the, look at that black, how greyed out it has. It's funny how much it changes colour. So what we're going to do is we're going to Skinner blend these two, and again it doesn't have to be perfect. Just let me make a bit of space. There we go. Just stick them together. I'm just going to overlap them a little bit like so. Like I say, if I was doing this for something else I might be a little bit more neat about it, but for what we're doing it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to Skinner blend these two. So I'll go and do that, and then we can get on with what we're doing. See you in a minute. Okay guys, my blend's done. So it isn't perfect, there's a bit of banding, but for what we're doing it doesn't matter, just as long as you've got a bit of colour going. And what I'm going to do now is probably fold this once, pass it through, and maybe fold it again so that I get about a 2-inch strip. See you in a min. Okay guys, here's my strip of Skinner blend, and as we did on the blue one, we're just going to cut this up into like a 2-inch block and build the block with a layer of trans in between. Now because I hadn't conditioned quite a lot of trans, I didn't put any on the bottom, and I'm going to on this one because it just helps keep this colour from smooching too much, if that makes sense, you know, when you're putting your bands in. So we're just going to, in fact let me move this out of the way and cut some of these up. I'm running out of space. Just shift some of these bits, then I can get in. There we go. So yeah, roughly about 2 inches. Let's cut some up first, Kath. Stop being daft. And then we're just going to layer everything up. You can do it as you're going guys, I'm just trying to make it a bit easier for myself. There we go. Right, so I'm going to start with a layer of trans, and then I'll just pop that rough bit on there, give it a smooth. I'm going to try and not get any bubbles today. I'll put a couple of layers of colour on, I think. I know I don't do canes, but I've had a bit of an idea doing this Skinner blend, so I might have a little test and see how it works out. We'll see. Watch this space. And if it's, oh, it doesn't matter if, like I say, if you rip it or anything, it all adds to what you're doing. And I think I'll just put this last little broken bit on, because now we're getting lighter. I'll put one more on, one more dark, because we're getting lighter now. I'm not going to put as much trans in between. Oh, it's a bit stuck. You can see that the difference in that now. So this will be creating our lighter bands. I think I'll just do one more, and then I'm not going to put any more trans on. I'm just going to let the colours do the do. I'll just stretch that one a little bit. And this one will be almost translucent. Oh, should be translucent. Right, I've remembered my caney things. Oh, a lady in the group gave a good tip. She got some square piping. I mean, as you know, these aren't cheap, and I've mentioned it many times previously that I had them gifted to me, so I didn't actually have to pay for them or customs, which, you know, is a bit of a bind these days, isn't it? It's probably going to get worse as well. I've already noticed that some of my shops that I order from are adding VAT on at point of sale from out of Europe. Still makes them a little bit cheaper, to be honest, guys. But right, now then, I think that's together nicely. So there we've got one block with our colour banded through. I'm not going to poke any holes or chop into this one. I'm just going to, I think I'll just leave it as it is. And that's going to go to one side. And our next one, oh, one sec guys, there's just somebody at the front door. Sorry about that, guys. Right, so for our next block we're going to need some trans and white, some translucent, a little bit of our metallic, and translucent, and I forgot to save a little bit, didn't I, from this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little slither off the end of, let me see which one's got the most. I'm just going to cut a little slither off the end of here, just to mix in and to tie the banding together, if that makes sense. We're just making a layer with a bit of gold, and you know, if it was a real rock, you'd have a little bit of like mix up in between the layers, won't you? That's why I like doing this one. Right, so we're going to take a bit of trans. I'll just cut a bit of this up while I'm at it, and a bit of translucent and white. I'm just trying to line it up, guys, and I can cut a couple of strips. So I'm going to do a layer of trans and white, and I'm going to take some of this, I'm just going to flatten it out with my fingers, our little stripy bit. Oh, look at them stripes. And I'm just going to smudge this onto, oh, my board's sliding, smudge this onto here. You can do your metallic first, it doesn't really matter. I'm just smudging some of this colour through, and I'm going to put a little bit more on than I did with the blue, just for the simple reason, once it had all been smushed with my porky thing, I didn't see a lot of it running through on mine. So I'm just going to make sure I've got a little bit more on than I had in the blue one. I'll just put some of the paler bits on as well, so there's a bit of a mix. I may as well use it all, mightn't I? Yeah, so there's some thicker bits as well, guys, because I've just kind of stacked it on top of each other. And then I'll just put a layer of translucent over. Just give it a little smush. Just going to give it a little roll, just then I've not got too much trapped air. And then I'm going to take my porky sticks and just poke into it all over. Oh, I'm picking some of the clay up. There we go. And I'll put a layer of trans white on and just give that a little roll. Hopefully that'll help with some of the, I can see a few bubbles in there. I'll just cut these bubbles. There, that's better. Still a few little bubbles, but I'm not going to worry about it, guys, because it all comes out in wash. Right, and now I'm going to take the gold and do the same. Just smudge some pieces. Oh, my roller's rolling around. Smudge some pieces on. I think that's enough. Again, I'm just going to give it a little roll to help it bind, and then I'm going to put another piece of trans over the top and another piece of translucent and white over the top. I might as well just use this dodgy end. Oh, and I've got another cat hair. Out you come. That's all I seem to do these days, is pull Doris fluff out of my work. Oh, bless her. And again, just give that a little roll. I'm just gonna squidge it. Oh, I keep forgetting I've got these, don't I? I'm just gonna squidge it together a bit, guys, because I've flattened it out a little bit. And then take my trusty pokies and give it a really good poke through. And you could just do this with a ball too, or you know, well, anything you've got really. It's just trying to get those layers to mingle is what we're after. There we go. I'll just squidge it together with my blocks and then I'll give it a roll. Sorry about the banging, I don't know what my husband's doing. I'll go and throttle him later. I'm just going to turn it. And there we go, that's our second layer done. So now then, our next layer is going to just be gold, I believe. Let me just check my notes. You think I'd remember, wouldn't you? Yep. So metallic, trans and trans white. I'm a bit thin on the ground with my trans white again. I should have done a little bit more, I think, but not to worry. Right, so we're going to layer trans white, and I'm going to need a bit for my last layer. I might have to mix myself a little bit more up, guys, because I might have overdone it in one of them blocks, but again, it's not to worry. I've just found another cat hair. Right, let's get these chopped up into 4, I think. And some translucent. I'm just giving it a stretch because it helps with the bubbles sometimes, you know, the trapped air. If you just give it a little stretch, it pulls out the plaques. Not all the time, but it does work. Right, I'll just stretch this out a bit, then it works with the gold. So trans and some gold, then I'll do another trans and a bit of white. What on earth is he doing? I've proper skinnied this down, guys, because I just want a few bits left. So, oh, overstretched it. I'm just going to stretch that out like that. It'll be fine. And then a bit more gold. And then a bit more trans. In fact, I think I'll do 2 layers of trans. Let's just tear that. More trans, and I think I'll call that a day with the gold. I think that's plenty. I've just got a little bit left over, and I'll put a little bit of trans white on the top. I'm just stretching it out a bit, guys. It's just to add a little bit of interest to the bands. That'll do. And then I'll finish off with this scrap of trans and then a meter piece for my last bit. Could have been a bit bigger, but never mind. Right, I'll just get this something like, and then this is the one that we're going to chop into with a blunt edge. I'm going to use my metallic ruler, and we're really going to chop through this to get it mild, if that's a word. I'm sure you get what I mean. And now I'll try and bring it together with me. I forgot what they're called, these square purrs, is that what they're called? And give it a roll. Let's give it a turn as well, just so I know that I'm catching all the bits. And I'm just going to flip it over, guys. Can you see like your bottom layers don't catch up to this, so I'll just give that a little bit of a roll as well. And then I'm going to chop into it one more time, I think, just to make sure that everything's had a good mix through. I'll do it this way this time. And then this way. Oh, it gets quite stiff to do. Makes me out of breath. Let's get this back together. And give it a roll. Here's my bottom looking. Seems well, doesn't it? Ooh, does my bum look big in this? There we go, and that's layer 3 done. And now just for layer 4, which is just using up your scraps really. You may have to do another little batch, guys. In fact, I think I'll just do I'll just go and do myself a little bit more translucent, because this is all I've got now. So I'll just go and condition just a little bit more, just to, you know, make the stack a bit bigger. I won't be a sec. Okay guys, I've just done myself another little bit, not a great deal, but a bit more to work with. And what I did was I just added about that much trans to the white I already had mixed, and I've just give myself a little bit more, that's all. Yeah, just be mindful when you're doing your other blocks that you know, or maybe make a bit more, but I don't like having any left over, because I don't like wasted bits. It's funny, isn't it? I'll just chop this up. Same with this one. Quite random. and then we'll just do some layering with this one. I'm not sure. I might I'm gonna leave it banded, I think. I'm not gonna, I was thinking about chopping through it, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave it banded, because once it's been deformed a little bit, I really like how that looks with the banding with this. Yeah, don't want to get my blocks mixed up. Couple of trans. A bit more white. Trans. I'll just fold that edge over. White. Now I'm going to leave just 2 bits. I'll use all these scraps up, but I'm just going to leave 2 bits for the top and bottom of the block. Again, you don't have to, guys, it's just oh, I think that's white, isn't it? Yeah, I'll put that white there. Come on up. And I will use this other bit here, and I'll just put it straight on the top, sod it. Stretch. There we go. Let's give it a little roll. Both sides. And where's my other square gone? And just get these. Oh, well, that was right, wasn't it? It shouldn't make a difference. Might make a nice break. I think I pushed a bit harder there, guys. There we go. Right, that's come together okay. And then we just have to build our stack. So we've got our banding. These might need a bit of tweaking to get them the right size. I'm just gently squishing them with my fingers, guys. And this is the one that's got matte, white, translucent, and then little scraps of colour in. This one's going next. I'll just give it a little roll, then it matches nicely. And then, how's that for size? Then we've got our gold and translucent. And that's next. Just give it a little roll. In fact, I'm just gonna, the bottom's bigger than the top. The top's bigger than the bottom, so I'm just gonna spread this bottom out a bit. And get it something like, before I put this other one on. There we go. And then our last but not least, that's not the right shape. It's a hefty block again, guys. Oh, my desk is sliding around today. Don't know what's going on. Probably because I cleaned yesterday that. I'm just going to give the sides a roll. Just to get them all about the same size. Bubble, let's just pop you right. And now again, using, you know, you can use your rolling doodah, decide which side you're going to be cutting from. Oh, got a bit of something there. And then push a shape in to get it to deform a bit. Now one of the ladies in the group made this yesterday, and I think she did it from this end, and it looked really cool. But saying that, I haven't done this colour before, so I'll just stick to what I normally do, and that is give it a divot in the top. And you can always distort it while you're playing with it as well, guys. I just like doing this because it's kind of funky. It's just trying to get it back to something like is what I struggle with. It's a lot cooler in here today, so the clay isn't as soft for me. I'm just going to turn it over and give it a roll that way. Oh, I've got an itchy nose. Let's just get it back into some semblance of order. What on earth is that husband of mine doing? It sounds so noisy today. It's probably because I've got the window open, isn't it? Right guys, I think that'll do. And I've got that little divot in the top. I'll just see if I can blend it through with my finger. Get rid of it. Flipping heck, what's he doing? Sawing bits of wood with the sounds of it. Oh, that's it, I've got it, I think. Right guys, I'm just gonna, even though it's quite cool, I'm gonna let it rest. And as same as I did with the last one, I'm just going to cut one slice off and make a bit of something with it to show you how it looks baked up, and then I'll make another video making a piece of jewellery as I normally would. So there you go guys, one block. I'm really intrigued to see what this black looks like. You can already see with the shades of banding that it's going to look, excuse me, it's going to look quite cool. Right, we'll let that rest a little minute, and then I'll come and do a slice, and we'll make just a simple pendant with a piece. Okay guys, see you in a minute. Hi guys, alright, we've cooled down a bit. Just deciding which side to take a slice from, because the first slice is normally a bit dodgy, isn't it? So yeah, I've just been looking at some of the comments on the Facebook group that I said I'm gonna do one with black what do you think? And you've all had me in fits, bless you. Chuckling away to myself. Right, let's do this. So I'm just going to cut a reasonable chunk off. And let's have a look. Now I think what I'll do, I'll just give it a squish, guys, to get rid of, I could just see a little couple of bubbles. Now then, thought I'd use this, so if I cut this in half, I should get 2 pendants out of it, but I'll just have to distort it a bit, won't I? Right, so I'll just cut this in half, and what I'm going to do is just distort it with my fingers, just to get the banding working differently, if that makes sense. And that'll do nicely for this one. I'll just get that, make sure I've got that nice banding in, and I'm just gonna squash that down and just cut some of this excess off before I roll it. I thought I'd cut more. I'm always cutting into this mould. I don't know why this one. I mean, I do cut into them, but it can be a bit thick sometimes. That'll do. I'll just pop this other one. Oh, should I use this scrap? No, I'll use this one, and I think I'll have this one going the other way. What I'm going to try and do is not distort it as much in this one, and then the bit I cut off I could make something else with, because it's quite thick, this block. So let's try this. I think that's gone in quite well. Let's just trim this excess off. Oh, got a bit extra on that one. And I'll just, where's my roller? Just cleaned everything, so I'm struggling to see where I've put them. Oh, I think this black's gonna look quite fabulous, if I say so myself. Oh, I've got the giddies today. Don't know what's up with me. You know, when on some days you've just got the giggles about, not, you know, anything makes you giggle. I'm in one of those moods, I think. Just lots of things are making me giggle, which is a good thing. I'm not knocking it. We've enough days of being miserable, I think, with this stupid doodah that I keep saying I'm not going to talk about. Right, let's find a scrap of paper. I'm not going to cook these in the mould, I don't think. I think I'll pop them out, because they do come out, this one, quite easily. There we go. Oh, I think they're going to look pretty cool, guys. Right, so I've got them. And I think what I'll do is I'll just try and have a look at these bits and see if I can get a couple more out of these bits, because as you know, I don't like wasting anything. So let's, I did that one that way, didn't I? So let's put this there and press that in. I might have to roll this bit back to fill. You can tell it's a lot cooler in here today, because this clay can go quite sticky if it wants to. Right, I'll just cut this off, guys. There's one, and this one's probably just slither a bit of this end off to put on this thin piece at the other end and see if that helps with building it. I went in and told my husband off for making so much noise, and he just laughed at me. How very rude. How did I do that one? Right, I'll put this black up to this point then, like so. I love using moulds because you get your shape really quick, don't you? And the thing is all the moulds I tend to like are Russian ones that are quite expensive. Well, they're not that expensive. It's getting them here that's expensive, isn't it? I was talking to a lady about ordering things from Australia and stuff, but the import taxes that we pay, guys, do you have that in the States? And if you order things from abroad, do you have to pay taxes when they turn up? Because it can cost a pretty penny over here, almost another 20% on top of you know, if you order say from Australia or the States, we can end up paying an extra cost on top once it arrives, and we can't get the goods until we've paid it. I mean, I've been really lucky that I've a couple of friends that will, I wouldn't send them a shopping list obviously, but I have got a couple of friends who have specifically sent me things, like those square things, the tiny Pandora square things. These would have cost just as much import duty as they would to buy them. So yeah, it can get it's a bit annoying. I think some things should be exempt, you know, because we're ordering them to, you know, for a hobby, aren't we? We're not making loads of money from them and things. Well, I suppose if you sell, you are, but for tools and things, as long as you can say that they're for personal use and you're not buying 40 of them, I think it's a bit daft. Right, guys, so we got 4. I've got a little scrap bit there. We got 4 pendants. Put my teeth in. 4 pendants from that mould, that slice. So we'll see what these look like. Now, what I have noticed the past couple of times I've used translucent, that it has come out just that tinge, like it's slightly caught in the oven. So I've actually altered my oven temperature. It could just be the fact that because it's been so cold in here, I've had the heating on a lot higher and it's making the oven spike a little bit. My oven's normally pretty good. So I've turned the temperature down just a touch. It's registering just over a 5-degree difference on my thermometer. So I'm just going to see if that helps, and I'm only going to put them in for half an hour, and we'll see if I still get that tinge, you know, not quite white, because generally Cernit's quite a whitish colour, or clear, you know. It doesn't, I've not had it go too orangey or browny on me before, but hey ho. Right, I'll pop these in, guys. I'll be back when they're done. See you in a minute. Hi guys, we're back. These were the first 2 that we did. I'm really pleased with this black. It looks really good. And these were the ones we did with the little scrap bits. That one looks quite cool, doesn't it? And I don't know if you'll be able to tell, just altering my oven, that teensy bit seems to have taken some of the orange off. So I maybe just had it on a little bit too high. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of these. Let's have a look. I'm not sure. Maybe this one. I'm just going to pick one. I'll just check. I've just got a simple silver. I know I've got gold in here, guys, but I just thought it would work because of the different colours in there. I'm just going to give one a quick buff. I'll do the rest and show them in pictures. I'll just give one a quick polish and buff, and I'll put it on a bail and a chain and show you the finished article. So I'll just go up and disappear and give this a quick buff. I won't be a sec. Well done, guys. Lovely and shiny. There's still a couple of little marks in it, but I didn't want to sand too much off the surface, and it looks pretty natural, doesn't it? I love that band there. Looks really funky. So let's stick a pendant, stick a doodah on it. Not too sure which way up I want it, to be honest. Do I want it there? Oh, I think I'll do it that way, so it hangs that way. I've got, I'll show you these, some new ones I got. They're not as tight up here, so that when you've got this sort of pendant, sometimes I feel like they're too far on the, you know, they're like holding on with grim death here, whereas with this one I can get it in quite far. But yeah, just some little bails, and I'll just judge where I can put my dot. Where's my pokey tool gone? And I think about there. I'll just turn it round and see if that's pretty central. Maybe there. Right, I'm hoping just my thin one will do, and I won't have to go through more than the thin one, but we'll see. There, we're through. Just give it a little twist to make sure the hole's clean. And just go through the back to get rid of that little rough bit on the back. There we go. I'll just open this up with my fingers, and perfect. Can't quite see the back one. Got it. There we go. Nice pinch bail. There's plenty of room in this to allow it to move, so it's got a bit of freedom. And I've just got a simple box chain, guys. Just a simple silver chain. I'll just hang that on there. And there we have one nice pendant. Right, guys, there you go. I'll give these a buff. I might do something with them, or I might just put them to one side for spares and things. But I'm really pleased with that black. Might have to experiment a bit more with this one, because I love, you must remember, guys, not to just cut it and, you know, and then cut the slab out. Give it a bit of a smooch around, because you start to get some really nice depth. You can't really tell when they're not polished, but if you smooch your layers a bit, it gives quite a bit of depth to the pendant. I don't know if it'll pick it up in the light. It makes it more stone-like then, if that makes sense. But yes, there you go, guys. I shall get this edited and sorted out over the next couple of days. Hopefully I can get it done this afternoon. It's only 3 now, so it takes a couple of hours to transfer the files and get them up to YouTube. So I might get it finished today, ready for tomorrow, but we'll see. Not that that makes any difference to you, because you don't even know what day it is. It is Sunday today, so yeah, fingers crossed. Monday or Tuesday you should get to see this. Again, it doesn't really matter because it won't be the same day to you. Oh dear, what am I like? Right guys, leave you all to it. See you soon. Bye.